Let's start by giving our praises to the Most High, whose true name in Hebrew is Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, whose true name in Hebrew is Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Rakak Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, and the Holy Spirit, who taught us his truth. Honors to the brethren doing the work to push the gospel, risking their life and freedom to do so. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. 1/3 of the true biblical Israelites who will be seeking their salvation during these last days. So we back with another lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. This is going to be a World War III update, number 56. I think I'm going to title it, There's been multiple terrorist attacks on Russia. So again, there's been multiple terrorist attacks on Russia. So for starters, we heard of the attack that happened on the Crimea beach. And Crimea used to be Ukraine territory, but Russia conquered that territory back in 2014. So it's technically part of Russia, but a lot of people still associate it with Ukraine. All right, so that being said, we're going to get this first video. So you see, Kiev, which is Ukraine, struck Crimea with U.S. military missiles. Not sure if it's in this video, but Russia is blaming the United States for the attack. Now, it was Ukraine that committed the attack, but they blaming the U.S. We're going to get why later on. And also they said the U.S. better respect a response. They better expect retaliation.
В результате террористической совершенно атаки киевского режима на город Севастополь летом, в праздничный день, в хорошую погоду, когда люди...
Over 150 people got hurt, 27 of them were children, 5 of them dead. Alright, so that was it for that video. We're going to get to the next one. And I got a little small clip of the actual attack on the beach. And this will be from my brother Kalab. So check this out real quick. All right. So when it was a missile went off course and exploded over the beach, and a bunch of debris fell from the sky and injured a bunch of people, killed a few people. Now, this is the terrorist attack on Russian territory that everybody's talking about. Well, guess what? There's been more terrorist attacks on Russian territory. So let's put up this next video real quick.
People in Russia are dead after gunmen attacked several houses.
Let me start this back.
At least 20 people in Russia are dead after
At least 20 people in Russia are dead. Check this out.
At least 20 people in Russia are dead after gunmen attacked several houses of worship Sunday. The coordinated attacks in Russia's southern region of Dagestan targeted a synagogue and churches in two cities. Among those killed are 15 police officers and an Orthodox priest. CBS News senior foreign correspondent Charlie D'Agata has the story.
An eyewitness captured one of the shootouts. Gunmen opening fire at a police traffic post, turning the streets of the capital Makhachkala into a bloodbath, bursting into a Russian Orthodox church, shooting parishioners and a priest. In coordinated, simultaneous attacks, armed assailants also opened fire on a synagogue 75 miles south in the coastal city of Derbent, then setting the building on fire. The city is home to a small and ancient Jewish community. Investigation officials say at least 15 officers were killed, and the priest of the Orthodox Church, who officials described as brutally murdered. No one has claimed responsibility, but government brutally murdered.
So the priests that they talking about, that they said were brutally murdered. I'm not gonna show the information, but there's an article out along with more articles that I'm going to show that said that those priests or whoever was brutally murdered, that they was decapitated, had their heads cut off and left in the synagogue.
One has claimed responsibility, but government officials are describing it as a terrorist attack. It comes 3 months after 145 people were killed in an attack claimed by ISIS on a concert hall outside Moscow.
And then we remember when Russia opened up that cathedral showing all black prophets, black angels, you know, the patriarchs of the Bible having dark skin. That's when this terrorist attack here happened. That, you know, that hurt a bunch of people. Let's play it back.
45 people were killed in an attack claimed by ISIS on a...
So they claimed ISIS did it, you know, American reporters, that's what they claim. But Russia already had other information that showed that that was Ukraine and America. But even now, you know, the attack on the beach, which was the first video clips we showed, well, now these terrorist attacks in Russia on synagogues, churches that killed over 20 people, priests decapitated in the churches, 15 officers killed, what they got in common? Well, these terrorist attacks was done by Americans, Ukraine, NATO, etc. Now we're gonna get a little more information, then we're gonna close out with some scriptures. So we're gonna get this one real quick. So terrorist attacks in Dagestan and invasion of Abkhazia, synagogue and Orthodox churches hit. Russia will blame USA and Ukraine. And then right here it says 3 hours of fighting, beheadings. Remember we said those priests got their head cut off in the church and mass shootings. So yeah, hours of fighting, beheadings, mass shootings going on in Russia. And why are we showing this? Well, ultimately the whole war in Ukraine is an indirect war with Russia. What they thought they was gonna do was wear down Russia. Well, they see that their efforts in Ukraine are failing. So what? Now they want to attack Russia head on. But they doing it under these undercover names, terrorist attacks, ISIS, you know, all that. But it's really got American. This is America's handiwork. So we just showing that the war is progressing. Usually when it's attacks on Russian soldiers, it is usually in the country of Ukraine. But we not showing that they attacking Russian territory head on. So yep, we got another one real quick. Check this one out. Russia, after the missile strike in Crimea, receives a series of terrorist attacks in both Dagestan and Abkhazia. All right, information indicates that Russian President Putin will deliver a speech in which he will place responsibility on USA, NATO, and Ukraine. Now, check this out. According to the information from Dagestan security sources, the terrorists have American weapons. The fighting has been raging for 3 hours. So, yeah, these terrorist attacks in these churches and synagogues on the territory of Russia, they're using American made weapons. And then concerning the attack on the beach in Crimea. So Ukraine launched the missiles, but Russia already found out that they got the coordinates, meaning the GPS position, from American satellites. So it was America that gave them the coordinates or the GPS location on where to drop these missiles. So Ukraine might have launched the missiles, but America, gave them the address, if you want to use that word. So that's why, the attacks on the beach, the attacks in the churches and the synagogues, hey, it's at the end of the day, it falls on America, which all attacks in the world really fall on America at the end of the day. All right, you got a couple more screenshots. So, synagogue on fire after attack by gunmen in Durban, Russia. Reports of casualties. Another one. Heavy gunfire reported at 2 locations in Russia's Dagestan region. Synagogue on fire. Synagogues on fire all over the place. Beach attacks. That's how America get down. Because they're not just attacking Russian military bases. They're not attacking the Russian military, their soldiers. They're attacking civilians. A bunch of Edomites catching a tan on the beach. Edomites getting their worship on in these synagogues. That's who America attacking. So that's why it's a terrorist attack. All right, so we just shown that the war is progressing, so you can best expect attacks on American soil. Expect that. Russia, America is on everybody else's soil, fighting everybody else indirectly, directly, got their hand in all these conflicts. Well, expect the same to happen to America. So we're going to get this. Jeremiah 50:22. A sound of a battle is in the land. Yeah, that's the wars and rumors of wars and of great destruction. These are two separate things. So first comes the battle in the lands. The battles is going on right now. Ukraine and Russia, soon to be China and Taiwan, Israel in the Middle East, all over the place. But after that, it's going to be a great destruction. So the sound of battle in the land, that's going to precede the great destruction. That's why 2 News 15, I think about the 14th verse, it say, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Then a verse after that says that the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. What's the sword? That's the sound of battle. Rather, it's the world wars or civil wars right here in America. That's the sword. That's the sound of the battle in the land. But it said, the sword draweth nigh and the destruction. So after the sword is let loose, after the battle in the land, then comes the destruction. The destruction is going to top off everything. Because see, what proves that these are two different things, the sound of battle in the land, a battle goes on and on, like they have been. Ukraine run out of weapons, they get more weapons. The battle goes on. Israel need missile defense systems, they get more weapons, the battle goes on. Well, after the destruction, there's nothing after that. That's the end of it all. So the sound of the battle in the land taking place right now. That destruction, what they say, the war to end all wars, that's gonna be that nuclear destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among nations? Who's the hammer of the whole earth? That's Babylon. Future Babylon being America. How is America, Babylon, the hammer of the whole earth? America go all over the earth, breaking to pieces these nations in these different countries, dropping a hammer on these different countries. You think of a judge when they hit the hammer, they're gonna execute judgment. Well, that's America dropping a hammer through these different airstrikes, sanctions. Putting corrupt governments in these different countries, taking their resources. You know, America is all up in these other countries' affairs and their business, trying to put their suits in, to put their 2 cents in. Trying to be the judge, the police force of the entire earth. So yeah, the hammer of the whole earth. Everybody says that America is Earth's police force, or at least they try to be. That's why they hammer the whole earth. They feel like they can go all over the place, judging and executing judgments on everybody without penalty. Well, guess what? That's gonna lead to this place being broken asunder, being what? Totally desolate by the nuclear destruction. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, that thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh. What's that snare? What's that trap that the Lord laid for a Babylon America, which America wasn't aware of? Well, there's many traps. So, for example, America giving all these weapons to these other countries to try to fight Russia, giving they weapons to Israel to try to fight the whole Middle East. Giving they weapons to Taiwan to try to fight Russia. So when it really come down to it, America ain't gonna have no more weapons. They ain't gonna have no ammo. And what's another trap in the snare that the Lord laid? Well, America being a hammer of the whole earth, being a police force of the whole earth, where they try to be, well, they made plenty of enemies. And then what do we get? I actually didn't do a lesson on it, but we mentioned it in the live lesson. What did Putin say? He gonna give all of America's enemies nuclear weapons. So yeah, America is giving away all their weapons. They can't restock or replenish their stock of weapons and ammunition. Not to mention they made plenty of enemies. And guess what? Russia, North Korea, and China is gonna arm all of America's enemies. So America is going to be armless, without weaponry, but all his enemies are going to have weapons. And then the Lord let America Babylon push LGBTQ throughout the earth. So that's another snare and another trap that the Lord laid for Babylon that America was not aware of. Well, yeah, you push LGBTQ throughout the earth, or at least you're trying to, but guess what? That LGBTQ has overtaken the American people. Now, half of your soldiers, well, most of your soldiers are a bunch of sissies. High heels, drag queens, dresses, drag shows, all on the military bases. So that's a snare, that's the trap that the Lord laid for Babylon that Babylon wasn't aware of. Plus, I'm sure, other brothers can give many examples on pretty much everything America's doing is going to backfire on them. The Lord hath opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. And then we know what? That the weapons of the Lord indignation, it can do what? Let's go up to Isaiah 13:4. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. What weapon can destroy a whole land? A nuclear missile, especially today's nuclear missiles. So again, the Lord hath opened his armory. Ain't Russia mobilizing their nuclear forces, you know, got them on standby? Same with China. Same with North Korea. They shoot nuclear missiles every other day. So that's the Lord open his armory, allowing these other countries to develop nuclear weapons and actually load them up, got them on standby to destroy the whole land of America. For this is the work of the Lord of hosts, of the Lord Yahweh in the land of the Chaldeans. So yeah, the weapons of his indignation are going to be dropped on the land of the Chaldeans. In other words, that would be Babylon. Come against her from the utmost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left. Who is this her? Lady Liberty, America, the daughter of Babylon, the great whore. And it said what? Come up against her from the utmost border. What's the utmost border? That's the southern border. That's how everybody coming to this place. From what? From these other countries. So that tells you that America is going to be invaded before its destruction. Open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her. Let nothing of her be left. So prior to the actual nuclear destruction of America, America is going to be finished. There's going to be civil wars. America's going to be invaded, attacked, have terrorist attacks, all of that. Slay all of her bullocks. Let them go down to the slaughter. And what is this going into? We're going to hit the book of Isaiah 34. We're going to hit verse 5. For my sword, being a nuclear missile, shall be bathed in heaven. Because the nuclear missiles go up into the upper atmosphere, then comes back down. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. In other words, Edom. In other words, America. Because we know as is this place where the weapons of the Lord indignation is going to destroy the whole land. Upon the people of my curse to judgment, the sword, the nuclear missiles of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord have a sacrifice in Basra and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. So this is not literal when it speaks about the lambs and goats. I can't remember the book of the New Testament, but it said what? That the Lord will separate the sheep from the goats. So the lambs and the goats is a metaphor for the people. Then the Lord speaks about the people being brute beasts, made to be destroyed. But it says it is made fat with the fatness and with the blood of lamb and goats. Yeah, because the people in America are literally fattened up. They fattened up. And then let me see if I can find this in Isaiah 13. Without taking too much time, I don't think it's in this chapter, but it says that the people will be fuel for the fire. But going back to Jeremiah 15:27, slay all her bullocks. That's the sword of the Lord, being filled with the fat of goats and lambs. And the people are literally fattened up. Because, you will fatten up a lamb or a goat before you would sacrifice it. Well, that's the same case with the people here in America. These people gonna actually be fuel for the fire. Slay all her bullocks, let them go down to the slaughter. Woe unto them, for their day is come, the time of their visitation. The voice of them that flee and escape out of the land of Babylon to declare in Zion. And that's who we trying to do. Our hope is to escape this place. And we declaring this to our people, which is Zion, that the vengeance of Yahweh, our God, the vengeance of his temple. So we let them know, the day of the Lord, his vengeance is on the way. His vengeance and the vengeance for his people, beginning with the elect. Call together the archers against Babylon. The archers are what? Somebody that shoots bow and arrows. Well, what's your modern day archer? People who got the ability to launch nuclear weapons here at America. There's only a few countries, but Putin said what? He's going to give all of America's enemies nuclear weapons. Matter of fact, just for edification, give me about 20 seconds. I'm going to see if I can send that to the computer real quick. All right, bear with me one moment. Just want to show this info. Might as well. All right, we're going to start with this one here. Russia will now arm all U.S. NATO enemies to strike the U.S. military bases and targets around the world. An application of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So Russia, the chief prince of Gog and Magog, which is being a guard to the nations, Ezekiel 38, is going to arm all of America's enemies. They're going to befriend all of America's enemies. And then when we go here, what options are the Russians considering? Middle East, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, Hezbollah, and the Houthi group equip them with ballistic missiles, drones, and anti-ship missiles targeting U.S. aircraft carriers. It says nukes in Iran, nukes in Latin America. That's just across the street. Let me see. Supporting national liberation movements because Africa is having a liberation movement as well. They kicking out the French, the Germans. They kicking out any Edomites that's linked to America and NATO. So it says around the world, not only in Africa, showing you what they're gonna put nuclear missiles in Africa, but also in Europe, such as Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, in these other countries. Because we know, according to Revelation 17, which I'm going to just get it real quick, but we know Europe is going to shoot nuclear missiles over here too. Like France, Germany, Britain, but whoever else Russia give these nuclear missiles to. Call together the archers against Babylon. All you that bend the bow, this is the nuclear missile, camp against it round about. Let none thereof escape. Nobody going to escape this place. Recompense her according to her work. Recompense means to pay back or back pay. Compense, linked to that word compensate, it read means back. According to all that she have done to her. So again, recompense her according to her work, according to all that she have done, do unto her. And what has America done? Being the hammer of the whole earth. Being the police force of the whole earth, rape, robbing, and murdering everybody, doing airstrikes, dropping missiles on people, and then dipping out of there. And they do it in the name of justice. They say that these people are our terrorists and a danger to the earth. Killing people, no remorse, and not just killing, the actual enemy, the military men and the soldiers, but straight up killing civilians. Look at Nagasaki and Hiroshima. They nuked them cities. America got to pay for that. It said according to all that she have done, do unto her. That includes Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And what else did they bomb from the sky? Black Wall Street. They gotta pay. America gotta pay for that. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she have done, do unto her. And who is this her? Lady Liberty America. For she have been proud against the Lord, against the Holy One of Israel. Yes, America's been proud against the Lord, passing LGBTQ laws, making GMOs, boasting against the Lord, you know, um, trying to cut off the people of Israel, Xing out any remembrance of the Lord, corrupted his word, corrupted his image, corrupted, pretty much took the truth and turned it to a lie. I think that's Romans 1 and 25. Therefore, shall her young men fall in the streets. What is this saying? And all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith the Lord. It says all her men of war. And why you think they just talked about the draft? Automatically signing up those from 18 to 26. Well, guess what? They're going to raise that age bracket. They're going to be calling really everybody from 18 years old to their damn 60s. Because that's what they're doing over there in Ukraine. Not to mention Ukraine, they sending women to the battlefield. They sending prisoners to the battlefield. They even sending mentally retarded people to the battlefield. I seen the clip on it. They was trying to teach this retard how to shoot a missile. Yeah, all her men of war shall be cut off. Well, some people may say, I'm not going to go to war. Well, guess what? You don't have to go to war. You don't have to take part in the draft. Guess what? The war is going to come to you. The war going to be at your front door. Don't forget America's invaded. Don't forget the store's going to go empty. Blackouts, water off. So they're going to be destroying people's houses for the lack of bread and great tribulation. A man going to have no pity on his neighbor. So whether you want to or not, you in the war. If you want to live, you in the war. Now, if you just want to roll over and die, well, so be it. But everybody is in this war. Behold, I'm against thee, O thou most proud. This is America, proud to be an American. The few, the proud, the Marines. This word proud is linked with the West. Saith the Lord of hosts, for the day is come, the time that I will visit thee. And that's why you got all these chariot sightings over America. And that's why when you watch any UFO alien invasion movie, where they pulling up at, they visited America. So the Lord of hosts and the armies of heaven will visit thee, they pulling up to America. And the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up. After that destruction, there's no coming back. And I will kindle a fire in his cities. It shall devour all round about him. So what's that fire that's going to be kindled in the cities to burn everything up? That's that nuclear destruction. And then we're going to end off here in Isaiah 13. We're going to start at 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against him. Then when you look up the Medes on the ancient map, it would be area of Russia, Asia, West Asia. So we know this is dealing with Russia and them. Which shall not regard silver. As for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows, whose bows? The bows of the Medes. What are those bows? Nuclear missiles. And not just nuclear missiles, but short range and long range missiles. Automatic weapons, firepower in general. Their bows, their firepower also shall dash the young men to pieces. That's what they call automatic weapons, or weapons with a high fire rate. They call it the chopper. Chop you to pieces. And they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. So when the terrorist attacks hit in America, well, what the Lord say, all that she's done, do unto her. America showed no mercy. They didn't spare children. They didn't have no pity on the fruit of the womb. They didn't care if you was a civilian. America bombed you and killed you anyway. Well, that's going to happen here. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. So what? Future Babylon, at its fall, at its destruction, it's going to be as or similar to the destruction that happened with Sodom and Gomorrah, which we know the Lord rained fire and brimstone on that place. Well, that rain is going to happen today through nuclear destruction. Many, many, many nuclear missiles from all around the world falling right here. So we just showing, pretty much going back to Jeremiah 50 and 22, 23, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken into pieces? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Everybody hate this place. So the day coming. So these attacks happening in Russian territory, although they small and not full on military attacks, hey, that's one step closer to the destruction of America. Now most of our people ain't gonna pay this no mind, and they're gonna be rocked right back to sleep, so that the day of the Lord gonna come on them unawares. So, yeah, multiple terrorist attacks in Russia. Hey, until next time, Shalom.